Tampa Bay sits in a subtropical climate zone, with average relative humidity hovering between 74 and 90% and nearly 46 inches of annual rainfall. The environment is saturated with moisture year-round. This chart shows average summer humidity levels plotted against continuous indoor air conditioning usage, or calling a professional. But mold doesn't start on the outside. By the time microbial growth actually breaches the surface of your paint or bathroom grout, the water intrusion feeding it has likely been active inside the wall cavity for weeks or even months. Waiting for obvious physical evidence guarantees one outcome. You will only discover the moisture failure during its most destructive and expensive stage. A room can look immaculate to the naked eye, while an infrared scan reveals a massive cold water anomaly spreading behind the drywall. Thermal imaging is a technology that detects temperature differentials, allowing inspectors to spot wet building materials that look completely dry on the surface. This risk accelerates after major storms. High winds and seasonal flooding force standing water deep into older, less moisture-resistant building materials, establishing a perfect breeding ground in places you cannot see. A standard residential mold inspection typically costs between $350 and $575. That upfront diagnostic fee stands against the thousands of dollars required for blind, large-scale structural remediation if the mold spreads unchecked. Scheduling a professional evaluation is routine structural maintenance necessary to protect a home in a high-humidity environment. When mold finally runs out of food or space inside a wall, it breaks through the surface, appearing as dark, heavy spore clusters congregating in ceiling corners or along baseboards. Long before you see those spots, you will likely smell them. Mold growing inside closed cavities releases microbial volatile organic compounds, or MVOCs. These are chemical gases produced during the mold's metabolic cycle that seep through microscopic cracks, creating a persistent, earthy odor. As the hidden structural wood absorbs this moisture, the house itself reacts. Doors start sticking in their frames, hardwood floors begin to warp, and interior paint bubbles outward. You might even see a sudden spike in your electric bill. This happens when severe indoor humidity loads force your air conditioning unit to run constantly to strip excess moisture from the air. These signs point directly to concealed hotspots. In the humid southeast, standing water in AC drain pans, slow drips under sinks, and trapped hot air in poorly ventilated attics create perfect environments for microbial colonies to thrive unseen. By tracking these subtle, systemic indicators, the smells, the wood expansion, the utility bills, you can identify active water intrusion and stop it before it rots the building envelope. When homeowners suspect a moisture problem, many head straight to the hardware store for a cheap, standalone DIY air quality test kit. These kits will confirm that mold spores are present in your air. However, they provide zero context. They cannot tell you where the moisture leak is located, what building materials are failing, or how far the colony has spread inside your walls. A licensed professional assessment takes a diagnostic approach. Rather than just trapping spores, inspectors use thermal imaging cameras to map cold temperature differentials, tracing the exact path of the water behind the drywall. They follow up with physical moisture meters. These tools measure the exact water content of the structural framing, specifically flagging any wood registering above a 16% moisture level, which strongly indicates an active leak. This matrix breaks down the diagnostic tools. Visual checks and basic air tests have a low cost, but offer terrible precision and fail at locating the source. A professional inspection combines moisture mapping with lab testing to pinpoint exactly where the failure is occurring. Professionals also utilize surface swabs and tape lifts to collect direct samples from the affected materials. This identifies the exact microbial species present, which dictates how strict the chemical cleanup protocol needs to be. Paying for raw data from a plastic dish leaves you guessing. Investing in a professional assessment gives you the exact root cause of the moisture failure so you can actually fix it. The physical damage to your home is only half the equation. As established by the CDC, prolonged exposure to indoor mold growth is linked directly to unexplained household respiratory issues, chronic coughing, and frequent severe headaches. If household members suffer from chronic nasal congestion or throat irritation that vanishes the moment they leave for work or school, the home's indoor air quality is likely the underlying source of the problem. Some local species carry severe risks. Stachybotrys chartarum, commonly known as black mold, thrives in high humidity climates and produces dangerous mycotoxins. You cannot safely remove it by wiping the drywall with household bleach. A precise, scientifically driven inspection serves as a necessary health intervention, ensuring the air inside your living space is actually safe to breathe. This flowchart shows exactly what to do next based on your home's current symptoms. Matching your situation to the right strategy saves both time and money. If you are purchasing a new property or performing maintenance after a major hurricane, you take the first path. Book a full professional baseline inspection to ensure no hidden water damage is present. If you notice sticking doors, warping floors, or a persistent earthy smell, take the second path. You require a professional moisture assessment combined with calibrated indoor air sampling to locate the invisible source. If you find a contiguous area of visible fungal growth exceeding 10 square feet, bypass the testing phase entirely. The EPA threshold has been crossed, and you must proceed directly to professional remediation and containment. Whichever path applies to your home, the ultimate objective remains identical. You must identify and physically correct the underlying moisture failure. Otherwise, the mold will simply grow back. Once the affected materials are removed and the moisture source is fixed, the job still isn't finished. You must perform post-remediation clearance testing. Clearance testing is a follow-up assessment by an independent inspector. In a subtropical climate, if a contractor fails to fully dry the wall cavity or address the slow drip under the sink, the humidity will cause the mold colony to rebound in a matter of weeks. A past clearance test compares the new indoor air samples against outdoor controls. It serves as objective, third-party proof that the spore counts have successfully returned to safe, natural baselines. Holding this documented laboratory evidence protects you if you ever decide to sell the property, and it ensures you comply with the strict requirements of Florida homeowners insurance policies. In an environment ruled by extreme heat and constant moisture, certainty doesn't come from staring at a freshly painted ceiling. True safety comes from scientifically measuring exactly what is hiding behind it.